Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. I'm very excited to be here today. I'm sure Munir from Tradish, our customer, is as well, is going to be joining us on the stage really soon. I lead the customer engineering team that engages with startups at Google Cloud. And I would say that my team and I, we have one of the best jobs at Google. At least I think so. And I say this because we get to engage with you, the startups, on a daily basis. We get to see what's the latest and greatest that you're putting out there, all the innovation you're bringing to the world. Now, it's a big privilege and a big responsibility. At the same time, we not just want to help you understand our technology, but we want to help you achieve your goals. And there's one particular goal that is the major driving force for your technology decisions, which is survival. It's very easy to get lost in the technical details, but we know that when you're choosing technology, it's about what's going to give you the most runway and the most longevity for a company. Many of you say that the feeling is almost like you're this small fish in this vast, open ocean full of sharks, and you're trying to thrive in this challenging environment. I really like the ocean analogy here because it can teach us some interesting principles about data and startups. But before I do that, I actually need to give credit to my kids. They love the ocean, they love the animal world. My little one, a few weeks ago, came to me, true story, and said, "Daddy, did you know that 90% of the ocean hasn't yet been explored? And did you know that for you to see the most amazing and interesting things in the ocean, you have to go really, really deep? But you cannot see with your human eyes. You have to use special technology. You have to use special help." Obviously, I found that really interesting. I learned a lesson there. But it's so true about data. We all know that the majority of the data out there is still unstructured, yet to be explored. And we know that even as a startup, if you want to get truly the most value out of your data, you have to really, really go deep. And you can't do it on your own. You need to rely on special technology and special help. Now, for you as a startup, you're focused on short term. You're in survival mode. You truly want to push your products out there as fast as you can so you can find product market fit and find profitability. So you're not thinking too forward. So a data strategy for you might not be your immediate priority right now. But if you want to be around in the next few years where AI will shape your future, it's likely that you have to invest on a data strategy because it's going to be key for your long-term survival. We understand that the challenge here is to make it a reality to startups, to make it a reality for you. The common guidance that you get when you're shaping a data strategy is that you're going to have to do a lot of things at once, very complex, starting with aligning your strategy with your company goals and then investing on complex governance and a technology stack. However, the reality is you might not even know what your goals are because you're in survival mode. You might be limited on finances or you don't have enough data, you might think, and limited as a team. When you think about Gen AI and the future of large language models, the good news is this is going to allow you to have to turn less knobs for your data. And it's going to help you close the gap and catch up to the bigger players. But at the same time, if you truly want to uncover the most insightful things out of these intelligent models, you potentially have to tune and fine-tune these to your own industry and domain-specific needs. So the future is going to be less about the knobs to turn, but way more about the questions you're going to ask to your data and the quality of answers that you want to get of them. And for that, you truly need a solid foundational data model. So how do you build a data strategy as a startup, regardless where you are in your growth journey? Today, I want to propose 10 steps for you to go from this small to this big fish on this data ocean, from the surface level all the way to the deepest one, so you can find those very most interesting, insightful things that my son once shared with me. This journey is incremental. If you are a data company today, you sell data as a product or service, it's very likely that you might be on step 10. However, you might need to cover some ground and go backwards on these steps on this journey to cover some foundational things. For the majority of you, if you're following these steps, just know that you can start at any point. If you feel that you're swimming against the current, continue. I have confidence that you're gonna get some momentum, and at some point, you're really gonna reach those deep levels, and you're gonna be able to be recognized as a data-driven company. So let's get started. Okay, step number 1. Regardless if you recognize yourself as a small or a large fish in this ocean, you don't have to manage infrastructure for your data needs. There's a lot that goes into managing data. Google Cloud has industry standard, open protocols, developer-friendly data storage and databases solutions that have out-of-the-box features so you don't have to spend time managing these things. So then your team can focus on the most important parts and places, which is within your business and with your customers. Second, as you swim in this open data ocean, you don't want to go from sea to sea with your data. As much as your architecture allows, you want to keep your data stores in the center as close as possible to your data applications and your applications in general and your data services, the services that will transform and process your data. And I'm saying this not because we don't want to encourage you in the future to be in a multi-cloud or in a multi-environment. It's because for now, this journey is all about taking incremental steps. And you want to reduce the variables you have to manage. Google Cloud is the most complete and unified data and AI solution provider, and it has everything that you need from start to finish, from ingestion to processing, analysis, and intelligence. And you have everything in one place. Okay, now you're navigating this ocean. You're like, I need to find answers in direction. And you might wonder, as a startup, I don't have enough data. I might feel in disadvantage with other big fishes out there. But I would challenge the fact that if you look within the confines of your startup today, there's plenty of data that might be valuable to you to get started with. Payment system, authentication systems, your user and website analytics, all of these, they have key insights that you can draw from. As you look to other sources of data, such as third-party data, accessible, open data sets, public APIs, partnerships that you can do with other startups, you'll be able to not just enrich your first-party data sources, but also to find correlations that you can draw from to start taking actions. And lastly, there's the case for using AI to not just augment your data sets, but also to compensate for potential biases. And one of the most interesting things with AI is going to help you turn less knobs so you can prepare those data sets, that data foundation, cleaning, preparing for further analysis. Now, you need to find a home for this data. In our ocean analogy here, I will call it a data reef. In the beginning, the data that we talked about is very likely that will be in your transactional databases, which is fine. But as you aggregate more data, including unstructured data, it's very likely that you're gonna have to invest on a solution such as BigQuery, which is our fully scalable serverless data warehouse, one of the most loved products by startups. This is not just gonna allow you to set a foundation for your data down the line, but to be the source of truth for everything that you're building in your data strategy, and even set the future for AI insights that you want to draw from. As you do this, then navigating this vast ocean, you might find stormy waters, some predators, So you want to take advantage of the security measurements and small steps that you need to take in order to protect this data, and even meet compliance requirements if you're operating on a highly regulated industry. I'm not using the word governance here because I know it's a scary word for you as a startup. It's small steps from giving the right access to the right people to the right data, or even protecting your users' data. There are several ways you can get started. Within Google Cloud's console, you can adjust settings to give the right access and permission. You can use APIs such as Data Loss Prevention API to anonymize or protect your users' data, and even use tools like you can see Security Command Center, which is part of our security portfolio, to scan your environment, scan your data, allow you to see data vulnerabilities, sensitivity, and compliance requirements that need to be met. I have good news for you. You're going from surface level now in this water to deeper levels. The current is in your favor. And this is one of my favorite steps of this journey. It's when you are going to expose your data to as many people as you can within your company and outside. 2 ways I want to recommend for you to get started. Number one, invest in Looker Studio, which is you can get started at no charge. You're going to expose and report the source of truth of your company with your most important and key metrics from your sales pipeline, your marketing campaigns, your operations in general, and even the cost of your data strategy here. As you do this and you build these meaningful and beautiful dashboards, it's very key that you provide them the chance for your teams to start looking for answers on their own, allowing them to do ad hoc analysis. The easiest way you can do this, it's using connected sheets. You're going to connect Google Sheets to BigQuery as a data source, and you allow people to query fresh data using familiar skills that they have using Google Sheets, such as pivot tables and dashboards. But here's the important part of this step. Not they just are looking for answers, but they're going to start understanding each other's business internally. Even if you have a small team of co-founders, you're going to be able to start challenging and holding each other accountable, because now you're uncovering key data points. And the most important piece is you're now truly uncovering your key performance indicators, your KPIs. So now you can align your data strategy finally to your company goals, which is the next step. Once you identify those key performance indicators, your KPIs, you're going to set targets for them. All these metrics here, you're very familiar with them since day one, and obviously they're just example. But the key factor here is that because you expose the data to your teams, they have the historicals, they have the trends, they understand exactly which KPIs you need to optimize for. So you're going to set targets on them, and as you hit or increase the targets that you set yourself for, you can now start calculating the ROI for your data strategy, the return on investment on your data strategy. And then you can start reporting that to your stakeholders, to your investors, to your customers. So now you're ready to go to deep waters. The first time you're going to experience those intelligent insights drawn from artificial intelligence and from machine learning. I know you have many ideas from the announcements that you heard this week at Next, but one quick way for you to get started drawing those intelligent insights, it's within BigQuery, using BigQuery ML. You can create, train, deploy machine learning models across forecasting, classification, and many others. So now you can start uncovering insights such as which customer is more likely to buy your product or which customer is more likely to churn. And as you experience this, you want to be doing this continuously because it makes all the difference for your startup. But before you try to do this and put this on a loop, it's very important that your teams, they adopt all the steps that we've been talking in their daily operations. It needs to be part of their culture. So next, you're gonna ensure they're instilling this within your company. But like any culture change, it requires intentional effort. Starts from the leadership, starts from the C-level down, and it's gonna be a continuous effort, by the way. There are a few ways that you can approach. Internally, from the moment that you're hiring people and you're asking interview questions, you need to assess their data skills. The moment you're assessing their performance, or whenever you're making or approving decisions about your product or any other innovation decisions, you have to push back on the people in your company that they're providing data analysis, data-backed and justifiable decisions. So they understand that if they want to perform well, they have to be data-driven people. It's not about slowing down your startup. It's about your people understanding that they have to be data-driven in order to succeed in your company. Externally, in a similar way, first thing you're going to clarify to your customers that they have control over their data, that they have privacy, but you have to continuously expose metrics to them so they understand that you're making decisions about product or the way that even you market or interact with them and prioritize them is based on data. As you do this, one of the key ways that you're going to identify you're succeeding in is when your customers reach out to you referencing a data point that came from a customer engagement or from a publication that you had out there. Now, you're not just going from one ad hoc cycle of your data strategy, but now you're truly embedding this in the backbone of your company. It's almost part now of your DNA, and you're being perceived externally as a data-driven company. So then I can officially say that you're ready for the last step of this journey, where you're going to continue, definitely and completely change the game on the way you, around your data strategy, which is investing in advanced business intelligence and artificial intelligence. Once more, you probably have many ideas as a homework going back to your startup that you want to apply from all the latest generative AI and announcements that you have, but there are a few suggestions that I want to provide today so you can get started. Number one, investing in our licensed version of Looker. Looker not just going to change the way you do data modeling and governance, but will give you a chance to now put on autopilot actions based on triggers on data anomalies and changes. So it can be on top of your customer's journey and on top of your product changes. Second, you're not just going to be building meaningful and beautiful data views with Looker, but it's also going to allow you to embed those views within your customer's tenant environment. So now you can start charging money for those insights that you're sharing with them. First time, you're getting true monetary value in exchange of your data strategy here. Second, you all seen the latest announcement as well around our Vertex AI solutions, including Gen AI App Builder, our low-code, no-code solution where you can build amazing applications to change the way your customers experience your data and your products and the customer relationship that they have. Internally, this is also going to allow your employees to spend less time on mundane tasks, give them more productivity, so they now can focus on the right things. Now last, and here, once more, it's where you're going to set yourself apart from everyone else in this open sea and this open ocean. It's when you use your own data to tune and fine-tune or pre-train large language foundation models across text, image, audio, to then build the next big thing, the next big features, and innovate in your product suite. Once you've done this, now I can assure you that you went from this small fish on the surface level to this big fish, maybe a shark in the deep ocean. And I can say that the ocean now is yours to conquer. So, some takeaways. You're in survival mode. If you want to survive for the next years with the future of AI, you have to invest in your data strategy. Make sure that you're instilling this within the company culture and externally share your value, even charge for your value of the data in your company. And lastly, this is an incremental journey, and you can find cost-efficient ways to do it as you grow. And Google Cloud will be close to you along the way to support you. Thank you very much. Now I'm happy to invite Munir to the stage. Munir is the lead software engineer for Tradish, one of our customers. And he's going to be talking about how they took an approach using their data strategy to achieve their business goals. Welcome, Munir.
Thank you, Fillipo, for the introduction. All right, welcome everyone. Hope you're having a good time here with us. I do. All right, let's get started. So I want to follow through on like this survival idea for startups that Fillipo talked about. And I've been working in startups for most of my career, only one. And so far, every time was jungling between trying to build features to reach product market fit or building features for investors and like be able to survive until the next round so we can raise money and continue the journey with our startups. And what I'm here today for is to share my experience at Tradish on how implementing like Fillipo's journey is helping us not only survive until the next round, but is helping us building a company that is profitable or about to become profitable very, very soon. Oh. Okay, found the clicker. Okay, so who we are at Tradish. So Tradish is a company that is building software for small food operators and entrepreneurs and we want them to be profitable from day one, right? And that is extremely important. As the company, we're very small fish in the ocean. We're only 10 employees. And the entire company is only focused on one thing, making our merchants profitable. Every decision we make has to be tied to that one goal for the company. And if they are profitable, we are profitable. Because the way we make money is by taking a small cut of their transactions. So how do we do that? The first thing we need to do here is like understand as engineers and builders and product managers, understand the business strategy that is that people want to execute on, right? So how does business people like envision the strategy of the company to be able to achieve that? For us at Tradish, it's been with 3 points. The first one is, like every single startup, we need to have users, right? So we want to generate adoption in our product using influencers, and we'll see later what influencers mean for us. The second step for us is to detect hotspot among those people that are using our products, right? And once we have those hotspots of like entrepreneurs that are actually making business within our platform, what we want to do is like invest in them so they can make even more profit with our platform. And with that, we do make profit too. So now that we understand the business strategy, what we need to do is execute on that one. So we're going to see how to build a data strategy, or how we built a data strategy at Tradish to enable that strategy for our business. So when you talk to, the first thing to do is talk to your teams. And on our case here, for the first step is like our customer success team, which is the same as our marketing team. We're very small again. And we want to understand how they operate on a day-to-day basis. What kind of data do they need? Like who they're talking to. And we realized that by doing so, they need to look at only 2 data, which is how many merchants have signed up, and also how far along they are in the sign-up process. How many products do they have in their catalog, right? So we want to focus on delivering that to this customer success team. So the first thing we want to do here is whenever you use a monolith, microservices doesn't matter for us, doesn't matter at all. For us, we're using like a monolith, but it could be anything. We want it to be deployed on Cloud Run. So that's what we've been doing. Everything you're here today is like a true story, it's our story. So this way, we don't have to focus on infrastructure whatsoever. We know that it's going to be here, it's going to scale with the company, and we don't have to worry about that at all. That's the first point. Once we have this data, it needs to live somewhere, right? So what we've been doing is like putting this data into Cloud Spanner. And for those who don't know, Cloud Spanner is an amazing database. It's been critical for us. It's a database that can scale literally infinitely, allowing strong consistency and still being highly available. So we know that there's no problem for us. Whatever many users we have, we know that we can count on the database to work with us. Once we're there, the first step is to put the data somewhere, right? as Fillipo said earlier, what we want to do is like separate analytical data from transactional data. So we push the data to BigQuery in there so we can transform it for our teams to be able to access it. So here we reach the number 6 points. We can see we can skip steps here. That's okay. Like we didn't go through the entire journey properly, and that's very fine. And so now what we have is like we have a dashboard from the data coming from our own product where this customer success team is able to see merchant signups in real time, the merchant's actions that are happening and how far along they are in the process, and are able to do their job using our data, right? And for that, we're using Looker. So now that we have adoption in our product and that the team that is handling this part knows how to bring people in and who they are, we need our sales team to detect those entrepreneurs that we want to invest in. So we need to talk to the sales team, right? So we're adding a new services here in our monolith, still running in Cloud Run for us. And when we talk to them, we want to understand how they operate too. That's very important. And so for them, there is 3 things that do matter: order placed, product annotated, and buyer signed up. Because we want to know, obviously, how many orders happen. They want to know the diversity of the products we have, so they know how exactly, what kind of offering they can make. And they want to know the demography of the buyers, like where it's worth to invest in the future for where we don't have that many chefs invested. So for that, point number 3, we're adding more data into this data set, right? So we're looking at like public data sets for census, for example, in the US, or we're looking at websites to try to get like grocery pricing in different areas to understand how much to spend to do groceries. Because everywhere we can like help them increase their revenue, we do increase their revenue as well. Once we do that, it goes to Looker too as well, and then now we have a brand new dashboard for our sales team to use every day that allow them to understand their margin per merchant, the product diversity per merchant, and also having a census heat map where they know exactly where they want to invest their next hotspot and create a new one. From there, what we have, like now we have a true data culture in our company, to the point where even our accountant now is using Looker to see how much taxes they have to pay to different provinces in Canada or states in the US. So now everyone is using Looker, relying on our own data or product data. So we know where the demand comes from. And so what we want to do is invest into those demands, right? Again, we have people, they make money, we want them to make more money, so we make more money. So to do that, now it's pretty easy. You talk to the sales team again, and their job is to try to make deals, create new demand for those chefs, so like they can naturally increase their revenue stream. But those teams, they want to know if they do a good job, right? So what they want to know here is like understand the difference between the order placed, the regular order placed, and the order placed through the elevated channel that we provided to them. So we monitor that as well and add that to our dashboard. And so now this sales team has like a new KPI that they can rely on and can set targets on this KPI as well to understand the elevated margin per merchant, so they know that if their action have actually good consequences for our chefs and for the company too, and adjust in case we need to. And doing all of that allowed us in like 2 years to release a brand new product, which is called like Tradish Buying Group, which allow us to provide for a very fraction of the price, like to our chefs to do groceries, right? And being able to increase their margin in a world where like doing groceries and operating a food business is super expensive. So the takeaways. What I want you to remember on this talk is one thing, and this is the first one. This is the most important. It's like enable and empower your business operations, not just your customers. Your product has 2 faces. Your operations, your customers, not one. If you're doing one, you're doing half the job. Second point is include operations into your engineering meetings and product meetings. After all, you're a startup, you're the same team. There is no silos in there. That's very important. And lastly, Google products are amazing, but can be a little bit expensive sometimes, so you should leverage Google for Startups Cloud program. We did that, and it allowed us to have access to both Spanner and Looker. Without those tools, we wouldn't have been like where we are right now. Thank you very much.